Hello everyone, and welcome to the fifth video of our tutorial series about Grimport. In today's video, we are diving into the world of lists and functions. So let's get started. The first thing we will see are lists. It's a structure used to store a collection of data items. Let's see how to create, access, and modify a list. To create one, we use square brackets. So let's say menu items. Menu items will be my list. We'll put inside Big Mac, then cheeseburger, and maybe nuggets. So here we have created a list and saved different products in a variable called menu items. You can also assign values to each element of the list by using a column, creating what's called a map or an associative array. So let's take back our menu items. Let's say I want 1 Big Mac, then 2 cheeseburger, and 4 nuggets. Now that our list is created, you will need to fetch data from it. You will need to use an index to do that. Just know that each element in a list has an index that corresponds to its position in the list. You can think of it like picking out a specific burger from your tray. It's also important to note that the index starts at 0, not at 1, which means that Big Mac from menu items is at the index 0, which corresponds to the first position in the list. You can use the method get to access a specific element of a list. So let's type console, then get, the name of your list, so mine is menu items, then the index, so let's say index 0, and we'll try the same, but this time we'll change the end. We'll say get menu items, and let's put nuggets. Oh, no, it's nuggets. Save the script, and before launching it, we can see that if we do get menu item 0, we'll take the item at the index 0, which is Big Mac, and Big Mac is equal to 1, so we'll get 1 with this line of code. And for this one, with nuggets, we get 4, because we're trying to access the element nuggets here, which is equal to 4. So let's try it. 1 and 4. You can also access element in reverse using negative numbers. So remember when I said that Big Mac is at the index 0, cheeseburger index 1, and nuggets index 2? You can do that in reverse, so nuggets will be at the index -1, cheeseburger -2, and Big Mac -3. So if we put here index -1 and here let's say index -3, then we save it. So we'll get 4, and for this one we'll get Big Mac. So 1, because Big Mac is equal to 1. 4 and 1. Now let's customize our list. Just like adding an extra topping to your burger, you can add an element to your list. We use the method add to add an element to a list, and the method put to add an element to a map. Remember that a map is a list, but with values assigned to each element of its list. We already have our map called menu items, and for the purpose of this example, I created a list called menu items 2. So let's try both methods, add and put. So let's say menu items dot put, because this is a map. So let's put Pepsi. Oh wait, don't forget Pepsi. And then let's put 3 Pepsi. Then menu items 2. It is a list, so we use add. Let's say at index 0 we'll put iced tea. And now we console menu items to see those changes. And we do the same with menu items 2. Save the script. And before launching it, normally you should have 4 menu items: Big Mac, cheeseburger, nuggets, and we add a Pepsi, so we should have Pepsi equals 3 at the end of menu items. And for menu items 2, we added an iced tea at index 0, so we should have menu items 2 equals iced tea, Pepsi, and Coke. Well, let's see. Big Mac, cheeseburger, nuggets, Pepsi, and iced tea at the first position, so at the index 0, Pepsi, and Coke. We have seen how to add an element to a list. Now let's see how to remove one. It is done by using the method remove, but it doesn't work the same as add or put, because you don't put menu items dot remove. You just put remove, then the name of your list, and you put the index you want to remove. So let's say cheeseburger, so index 1. Then let's do the same with nuggets. Then we'll console menu items to see what's left on this list, on this map, sorry. And normally we'll remove cheeseburger and nuggets from menu items. So when we launch the script, we should have only Big Mac. Sometimes you will need to delete an item from a list while browsing through it. It is normally illegal as you are changing the list structure while reading it, but the iterators are there to solve the problem. In this code, we have created a simple list, 1, 2, 3, then we initialize the iterator, and then we are using the method each from the iterator. This method allows us to browse through every element of the list and apply to them a function where the variable L contains the value of the element of the list being treated. Inside the function, we are verifying if the value L equals to 2, and if it is, then we remove this element. Now let's see by saving the script. And normally we should have a list with only 1 and 3 as the element. 1 and 3. You might also need to sort the element of your list. You can do that by using the method sort. The sorting is done by alphabetical order for strings list and by ascending in order for numbers. I already have my list menu items, so let's create another one with numbers. So let's say quantity equals 1962. Then we'll sort menu items, and we'll sort also quantity, and then we'll console menu items and quantity. Save the script, and we should have our list sorted. So for menu items, it will be apple pie, then Big Mac, then fries, and for quantity, it will be 1, 2, 6, and 9. Wait till the script is saved. Okay, this script took a bit of time to save, but now it is. Let's launch it. And we have apple pie, Big Mac, fries, and 1, 2, 6, and 9. Now let's talk about something you might encounter: null values. The null value is a variable with no value and therefore of type null. A variable is considered null if it has been assigned to the constant null or it has received a value yet. In Grimport, null has a special meaning. It means do nothing or leave by default. For example, in the PHP function, if the active variable is set to true, we activate the product, at false we deactivate it, and at null we leave it what was there before. It's also important inside Grimport's function. If you take the function select, you might need to pull null as a second argument to access the third, leaving the second argument with the default value. So for select, it will be this one, you leave it to null to access the third argument, selection. Now let's talk about variable scope. It's the part of the program where the variable may directly be accessible. There are local and global variables. Locals are accessible only within their own function or their block, for example in a if-else structure, and global variables, which are accessible everywhere in the script after its declaration. In Grimport, all variables are global by default. If you want to transform a variable into a local variable, you must add the keyword def when you declare it. Let's try an example. So let's say a equals true, then b equals 10. If a open the brackets, then we'll create another variable called b, but we'll give it the value 5, and then we'll console b, and then we console also b outside. Save the script. What will happen here is that we have defined b here as a global variable. So if we console b here, we'll get the value 10. And here we have defined b as a local variable with def. So we'll get, by console b here, we'll get the value of b here, defined under the bracket. So we'll get 5. If we launch the script, we'll have 5 and 10. There are also superglobals in Grimport. A superglobal is defined with the setGlobal function and is found in all scripts in the crawling script, so the initial, for-page, and final. Here we are on the simple script, so it's useless, but if you change to a crawling script, the superglobal will be accessible in the initial, for-page, and final script. Now let's talk about functions. A function can be considered as a block of code with a name that executes a service. A function is written as the name of your function, so let's say calculate meal cost, then the arguments that takes your function, so let's say number of meals, so num meals, then price per meal. Then you need to open two brackets, and everything that you write under those brackets will be what's executed when you call this function. So I'll create a new variable called total cost, which is num meals times price per meal. And then we'll say that this function returns the value of total cost. And then we'll console calculate meal cost. Let's say for 4 meals and it costs 5. Then you save the script. So here we have created a function named calculate meal cost that takes two arguments and returns the value of a variable total cost, which is the first argument times the second argument. This function is by default global, but it's possible to make it local by putting a def before the function name. We'll see that here we needed to put a def before calculate meal cost. Why? Because if we try this script, we'll get an issue. Because here we are trying to access arguments, so num meals and price per meal, that are only defined between those brackets, so in the function calculate meal cost. And we can't access these two arguments outside the function. So here, to fix that, we'll need to put def before the function name. And now we can access num meals and price per meal outside of the function. So if we try it, we'll get total cost equals 4 times 5. So this function will return 20. And here we have 20. By default, a function is not an object in Grimport, but you can transform it into an object thanks to the closure structure. It will allow you to use a function as a variable in many interesting contexts. So if we take the previous function, so calculate meal cost, the closure structure would look like open two brackets, then num meals, price per meal, then put a right arrow, and it returns num meals times price per meal. And here you can use this function as an object in Grimport. In Grimport, you can also define optional arguments with default values. Here I created a function called customizeBurger, which has two arguments. The first one is burger with no default value, then there is toppings with crispy onion as default value, and price with 10 as a default value. This function will print the name of the burger, the name of the topping, and the name of the price. So if we type customizeBurger here, we'll have cheeseburger as the value of burger, so the function will only print cheeseburger. Then we have customizeBurger, cheeseburger, and extra cheese, so the function will print cheeseburger and extra cheese, because here we have put a value for toppings, so it will change the default value. And here, if we type customizeBurger without putting anything, you will have an issue, because burger has no default value, so it needs to have one for the script to be launched properly, or else you will have an issue. So let's try it. Save the script and then launch the script. So here we have burger, cheeseburger, because we put cheeseburger here. Then you have toppings, crispy onions, because this is the default value, and we didn't put another value here. And we have also price. Oh, I forgot to mention. We also have price here, and because we didn't change price on both function call, we still get price equal 10 here, because this is the default value. For the second part, we have burger equal cheeseburger. Then we change the default value of toppings, which was crispy onion, by extra cheese. So we have topping equals extra cheese. And price equal 10, because we didn't change the value of price. And after we have an error for the last line, because burger has no default value. So you need to put one here, or else you will have an issue when launching customizeBurger. In Grimport, we have default variables: global, code, URL page, and arrival URL, each with its unique role. These supercharge your script and let you perform action on a specific page. The global variable, which is accessible on the tree script, initial, for page, and final script, is the array of available global variables. Then there is the code variable, which is the code of the page and is only accessible on the for-page script. Then there is the URL page and the arrival URL, which are the URLs of the page before and after a possible redirection. They are only accessible on the for-page script. And last but not least, don't forget to leave comments. For a single line comment, you can use // and for multi-line comments, you can use slash and times to open the comment, and times./ to close it. So let's try here. So let's say this is a comment. So here you have a single line comment, and here you replace the dots by your sentence. So let's say this is a big comment, so you need to open and close a multi-line comment. And here you have your single line comment and your multi-line comment. You can also comment anywhere on your code, even between arguments. So let's say console hello, then open a multi-line comment. This is an useless comment, and then this is your favorite tutorial. And here we have put a comment between both strings. In Grimport, there is also special development comments. The first one is to do. This one says what still needs to be done. Then there is the edit comment. It is used when you notify that you have changed something. Then there is the patch comment. It is used when you make a bug correction. And the last one is the specs comment, which is an update on the project specification. And finally, there are also special commands in Grimport which interact directly with Grimport script editor. There is the always save script. This one is for when the script is launched without being saved. No dialog box will ask you if you want to save the changes, because it is now automatically done. Remember before, when we had to write a script, we needed to save the script before launching it. With this command, you don't need to, as it is automatic. Then there is the never save script, which does the same as always save script, but the script is not saved, and the version written in the editor is used. Then there is the always save cron cloud yes. This one is when the script is backed up and a cron is present on the cloud. It is sometimes asked if the backup should impact the script in cron. Well, with this command, it is automatically answers yes to the request. And then there is the always save cron cloud no, which is the same as the always save cron cloud yes, but this one automatically answers no to the request. And we are done for this video. We have covered a lot of things today, so feel free to try and practice list and function on your own to master them, and you can also use special commands to make your code easier. In the next video, we'll talk about control structures, loops, and break and continue statements. Thank you for joining us to this tutorial, and see you on the next video. Goodbye!